On the night of April 5th, 1990, spotlights swept the boardwalk of Atlantic City. Michael Jackson walked through a casino the size of an airport terminal, past minarets and acres of crystal chandelier, and the man beside him told the cameras it was the eighth wonder of the world. The Trump Taj Mahal was the largest casino ever built. Over $1 billion of marble, glass, and borrowed money. 15 months later, it was in bankruptcy court. And here is the strange part. The collapse had been predicted in public, in print, 2 weeks before the doors opened, with nothing more than arithmetic. The man who did the arithmetic was fired for it. Atlantic City legalized casinos in the late 1970s to save a dying resort town, and for a decade the money poured in. By the mid-1980s, Donald Trump owned 2 casinos on the boardwalk, Trump Plaza and Trump's Castle. The Taj Mahal wasn't his idea. It was another company's half-built dream, stalled when its founder died. Trump fought a corporate war for the parent company, lost the company itself to the entertainer Merv Griffin, and walked away with the one thing he wanted, the unfinished shell of the biggest casino in the world. All he had to do was finish it. Finishing it would take hundreds of millions of dollars he did not have. Here is where the numbers take over the story. In 1988, Trump sat before New Jersey's casino regulators and told them he would never need junk bonds, the high-interest debt that was financing the decade. Banks, he said, would lend to him at prime rates because he was Donald Trump. Nobody else could say that. The regulators licensed the project. Then the banks looked at the arithmetic and said no. So the Taj Mahal was finished with exactly what he said he would never use, $675 million of junk bonds at 14% interest. 14% of that much money is roughly $95 million a year, due whether the dice were hot or cold. The interest bill turned the casino into a treadmill. To break even, the Taj Mahal needed to win about $1.3 million from its customers every single day. No casino in Atlantic City, no casino in the history of the city had ever averaged that. And the Taj had a problem no competitor could give it. Its 2 nearest rivals were Trump Plaza and Trump's Castle, a short walk down the same boardwalk, owned by the same man, fishing from the same pool of gamblers. The new palace did not create a new market. It mostly moved his own customers and their dollars, a few hundred yards north. And every dollar that moved covered one Trump interest bill by missing another. The arithmetic was public, and one man said so. Marvin Roffman had analyzed casinos for a Philadelphia brokerage for 16 years. In March 1990, 2 weeks before the opening, he told the Wall Street Journal what the numbers told him. The Taj would break records in the warm months, riding the free publicity. But when the cold winds blew from October to February, it wouldn't make it. Trump wrote to Roffman's firm threatening a lawsuit unless the analyst was fired or recanted. The firm pressed him to sign an apology. He refused to let it stand. Within the week, Marvin Roffman was out of a job, fired in effect for doing long division in public. At first, the spectacle worked exactly as predicted. Record crowds, record play, so much cash in the first week that the counting rooms fell behind and regulators briefly shut down the slot machines. But the spring numbers were the best the building would ever see. By June 1990, the wider empire was gasping. Trump's bankers owed billions across casinos, airlines, and towers, met in secret and kept him afloat with a $65 million lifeline, and put the celebrity billionaire on an allowance. That December, at his Castle Casino, Trump's father sent a lawyer to the tables to buy $3.35 million in chips and walk out without playing. Regulators later ruled it an illegal loan. The The empire was being held together with family money and paperwork. The cold winds came on schedule. Winter revenue fell. The 14% did not, and the Taj Mahal could not cover its own interest. July 1991, 15 months after the grand opening, the eighth wonder of the world filed for Chapter 11, the first bankruptcy in the Trump empire. The deal was already arranged. The bondholders cut the interest rate and took half the casino in exchange. Trump kept his name on the door. The yacht went. The airline went. The contractors who had built the palace, the plumbers, the drapery makers, the paving companies of South Jersey, were paid cents on the dollar, and some of them never recovered. The Taj was not the end. It was the pattern. Within a year, Trump's Castle and Trump Plaza followed it into Chapter 11. The casinos were bundled into a public company that went bankrupt again in 2004, again in 2009, and again in 2014. Each time, bondholders traded debt for promises. Each time, the name stayed on the building. The Taj Mahal itself limped on for a quarter century and finally closed for good in 2016 after a bitter strike, and was sold to a rival brand for cents on its construction cost. Through it all, the casinos lost money, and the man whose name they carried collected fees, salaries, and licensing payments. The lenders paid for the lesson. He graduated from it. The lesson of the Taj Mahal is not that a casino failed. It is that the failure was computable in advance. The 14% coupon was printed in the prospectus. The break-even was one long division, $1.3 million a day, every day, forever. One analyst did the division out loud and lost his job for it, 2 weeks before the building began proving him right. The glamour was a story. The interest bill was a fact. And when a story and a fact disagree, the fact collects with interest. The official verdict was written in the bankruptcy court, but the postmortem writes itself. The only question is whether anyone reads it before the next one.